I'm sorry to have to say this, but I've changed my mind about you. I do not approve of you marrying my son, and I never will. Now, run along home, little girl.
Wait a second. Don't you think it's a little too late for you to be saying that? The wedding is in a few weeks, and you never opposed us getting married before. I thought we were having a pleasant dinner together. This was my mom's first chance to meet you. She was really looking forward to it. And now you're telling me you're withdrawing your consent to our marriage? Why are you doing this?
Do you really need to ask me? Think about it.
Jolene, I really can't think of any reason you would be saying this. Did I do something that offended you tonight? Please, if that's the case, tell me what I did.
It's not something that you did tonight. It's something that you've been doing up until tonight, but now I've learned the truth. You were lying to me.
Lying? About what?
You were hiding the fact that you came from a broken home.
A broken home?
That's right. You never told me your mother was a single mother. And not only that, you had a rather poor upbringing, didn't you? If you're willing to hide such an important part of your history from me, then I will never let you marry my son.
Why do you think I was hiding it? I mean, sure, I never stated it outright, but did I really need to?
Are you mad? Of course you did. If I didn't do a thorough check on the educational and economic history of the women my son intends to marry, it could end up causing irreparable damage to my family's name.
You're making it sound more like a job interview than a marriage.
That's because it is an interview, and you failed miserably. Listen, Mia, my family has been running the Viratex Corporation for generations. It's one of the largest industrial conglomerates in the nation. Surely you can understand that I can't simply allow any woman to marry into this family, especially not one of your low stature.
Low stature?
I have an uncanny ability to read people, dear. I took one look at your mother and instantly knew everything I needed to know about her. She's clearly poor, uneducated, ignorant, uncivilized, and worst of all, a bad dresser.
That's an incredibly unkind way to talk about someone else's mother. So tell me more about how you read my mom and I.
What needs to be said?
I want you to tell me exactly what makes you think we're poor, uneducated, and all the other insults you flung at me.
As for uneducated, you admitted that yourself, didn't you? You never went to a prestigious university or anything of the sort. And your clothes and mannerisms are what tell me you're poor. I shouldn't need to tell you that, though.
I see. So you think that people who lack degrees from prestigious universities and don't dress like they have money to burn are uncivilized and ignorant?
Yes. What's wrong with you? Stop asking me such obvious questions. It's getting obnoxious.
Oh, well, excuse me for questioning why my soon-to-be mother-in-law suddenly withdraws her blessing on the eve of the wedding. Needless to say, I find your position completely unreasonable. A person's wealth and educational background don't matter one bit in a marriage.
Oh, that's such a commoner's way of thinking. I have the Viratex Corporation's interest to think about, Mia, and I can't have you ruining my family's name. Think of all the thousands of employees in our company's employ. Do you want them all to lose their jobs because you don't know your place in society?
You're gonna have to explain your logic to me there. How could me marrying your son possibly cause them to lose their jobs?
Since you're too much of a peasant to understand, I'll teach you a thing or two. The business world is all about reputation. If my son marries you, it's only a matter of time before you commit some crime or cause some other scandal that ruins our company's reputation.
I find it strange that you keep calling it our company. You're not connected to it directly, you just happen to be married to the current CEO. You've never actually worked there, have you?
So what if I haven't? My desire to protect the company is just as strong as my husband's. After all, both my son and husband work there. Tell me, Mia, are you prepared to sacrifice yourself for the good of the company?
What kind of question is that?
That's a no, then. And if you're not willing to sacrifice yourself for the company, then you have no place in this family. I've given my all for the company since the day I married my husband.
Good for you, Jolene. I understand you object to our marriage. Your husband, however, has no such issues. And more importantly, your son and I love each other and want to get married. You're the only person who's opposed to it.
What are you trying to say, Mia? That my word doesn't mean anything in this family? I have served my husband faithfully as his wife for more than 30 years, and he's the company's CEO. Just because I'm not officially employed by the company means you can just ignore my decisions?
It's not that you don't matter. And again, I'm sure you've been an excellent wife to your husband all these years. It's just,
I've never met anyone so senseless as to treat their future mother-in-law as a non-factor. You've got some nerve, Mia. But fine, so be it. Where are you right now? Come back to the house immediately. I'll meet you in the doorway.
What for?
I have something to give you.
I see. All right, then I'm on my way back.
That's what you get for having the nerve to think that I would ever allow peasant scum like yourself to marry my dear son. And if you ever darken my doorstep with your presence again, you'll only get more of the same. Now get out and stay out.
What's the matter with you? You just threw a cup of hot tea all over me. Fortunately, I managed to block my face in time, but my arm really stings. I think you might have burned me.
I didn't burn you. You burned yourself with your impudent attitude. You should consider yourself lucky that you have good reflexes. You honed those, protecting yourself from wild animals, no doubt. I intended to hit you right in the face.
You've just crossed the line, Jolene. This is why you called me back to the house, just to throw a cup of boiling hot tea on me? You didn't even say a single word to me. You threw the tea at me the second I knocked on the door.
Why should I waste any more of my valuable time on a filthy pauper girl? 1 second of my time is worth more than you will ever make in your entire lifetime. That's how different you and I are. You didn't honestly think you would get away with being so rude to me, did you?
I was being rude? You called me and my mom poor, ignorant, uncivilized, and a bunch of other stuff that I forgot.
What's rude about that? All I did was tell the truth. And besides, even if I did decide to be rude to you, I would be perfectly justified. We elites have no need to be pleasant to those beneath us, and with that, I've officially grown tired of you. Go home, peasant, and never bother me again.
Good evening, Jolene. Just to give you a heads up, I'm going to destroy you.
What? Who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I didn't give you my number. I'm Kathy, Mia's mom. We just met today. Thank you for the lovely dinner.
And what do you want?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't want anything from you. I was just letting you know that I'm going to destroy you.
Excuse me? You're going to crush me, the wife of the CEO of the great Viratex Corporation? Don't make me laugh. What's an impoverished single mother like you going to do to us?
Oh, I'm sorry. It seems like you misunderstood me. I'm not going up against the Viratex Corporation, just you. You're going down in flames, Jolene.
Oh, I'm absolutely trembling. And how are you going to do that, pray tell?
One step at a time, starting with step 1. This is something we need to address first. You just threw a cup of hot tea on my Mia, didn't you?
Well, guess what? I have the whole thing on video. You what?
Did you notice that Mia had a small pen sticking out of her vest pocket? That was actually a hidden camera. It's state-of-the-art. We have a 4K HD quality video of the entire incident.
What? You mean Mia was recording me?
No, don't think ill of Mia. She didn't know, actually. That was all my idea. I tend to be on the overcautious side, you see. I thought it would be good to have video of our meeting today just in case something went awry. And it's a good thing I did, too. So one step is to post this video on social media and show the entire world what you did.
No!
I don't think I need to tell an elite, educated woman like yourself that you just committed assault. You even admitted by text that you were aiming for her face. If word got out that the wife of the CEO of the great and powerful Viratex Corporation has done such a thing, I don't think your company's shareholders would think very highly of that, would they?
Don't be ridiculous. That tea wasn't hot.
Oh, bless your heart. Are you really going with that?
What do you want me to say? It wasn't hot at all. I made that cup hours ago. It had completely cooled. Mia looked hot and sweaty, so I thought a nice cold cup of tea would help her cool down.
I think I might just nominate you for the Worst Excuse in the World award. All you need to do is look at the burns on Mia's arms to know it was hot.
If she has burns on her arm, she must have touched a hot stove at home or something. I don't have anything to do with it.
All right then, so you're really going to go with the tea wasn't actually hot?
I absolutely am. It's true after all.
Okie dokie. Let's check the thermal image and confirm that, shall we?
What the thermal imaging?
That should be enough time. Did you check the video I sent you? You can clearly see that the cup you were holding had a much higher temperature than anything around it, including your body heat. So unless your body temperature is around 15 degrees, I'd say that confirms that the tea was, in fact, hot.
Where did you get that camera? It's equipped with thermal imaging?
I'm sorry, but you'll have to wait until later if you want to talk about camera shopping. Right now, the topic of the conversation is the fact that you lied. Well, Jolene, do you have anything to say for yourself now that you've been found out?
You're being overdramatic about all of this. I didn't intend to lie. I thought that cup was cooled. That's why I threw the tea at her. I guess I must have grabbed a new cup of tea by mistake.
My, oh my, Jolene, that's precisely what I'd expect from an elite woman like yourself. You're so immune to shame that you have no qualms about telling such a ridiculous cover story. It's like you've climbed so high on the social ladder that you circled all the way around and got back to the bottom.
You have no right to talk to me like that. I'm not on the bottom of the social ladder. You are.
Are you sure you want to keep saying that? After all, I'm having a pretty easy time getting the best of you right now. If you think I'm at the bottom of the social ladder, then what does that make you?
Oh, don't make me laugh. You're not getting the best of me. My husband is the CEO of the Viratex Corporation. Do you have any idea how powerful he is? He could crush you like an ant in an instant if he chose to do so.
But that husband of yours is out of the country on business right now, isn't he? I read about it in an article on the internet the other day. He's in the middle of working on a big project in a new market overseas. He must be terribly busy, far too busy to deal with cleaning up your messes. I wonder how he would react if he knew the sort of nonsense you were getting up to.
Don't act like you know anything about my husband. I am his wife. No one knows him better than I do. He'll forgive me with a smile, just like he always does.
Oh, you really think so? Then I guess I'll just have to call him up and see what he thinks. Be right back, Jolene.
What? You're calling him? You don't know his number. I don't understand. My husband wants to divorce me now? What in the world is going on?
Oh, I can answer that. I just talked to your husband and sent him the video of you pouring that hot tea all over Mia. As an extra special bonus, I showed him the thermography video too.
You did?
Yep, and that's not all. You remember the way you were mocking my daughter and I by text a little while ago? I also sent him a copy of that entire conversation. So yeah, your husband knows exactly what you've been up to for the last several hours.
And he's divorcing me because of that?
You understand, don't you? He doesn't have much of a choice in the matter. As the company's CEO, he has to manage all the risks to the company, including reputational ones. Considering that, it only makes sense that he wouldn't want to carry the risk of having you be his wife.
But every single word I said was the plain and simple truth.
Was it, Jolene? Was it really? You think that people with less money than you or didn't attend a university that fits your standards are uncivilized and ignorant. If you really think that way, then wow, you're even more of a lost cause than I thought.
I want answers, Kathy. For starters, why in the world did you know my husband's phone number?
I had a very close acquaintance of mine give it to me.
What? Who was it? Who could you possibly know that would be willing to give you my husband's number?
I think you know who it was. Take a moment to think about it, Jolene. Who do you know that wouldn't be very happy about the way you treated Mia?
You're kidding me. Was it really my son?
Ding, 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 we have a winner. Right you are, Jolene. It was none other than your dear son, Troy. I doubt he told you this, but he's been telling Mia and I for quite some time now that he didn't want to introduce us to you. The reason he gave was that you have a bit of an arrogant side, but I didn't think that was a fair description of you. You are nothing less than a bitter, vitriolic, narcissistic bigot.
No, I don't believe you. There's no way my boy would talk about me that way. I mean, I've always been the best mother for him that I could be. He was always number one in my book.
For what it's worth, he did tell us that your husband was a completely different person and that we could trust him. He was going to be here at dinner tonight, but he had to fly out of the country on business at the last minute. That worried Troy, who said without your husband there to keep you in line, you would no doubt say or do something awful to us. Which brings me back to the camera that Mia had with her. Would you like to know where I got it from? Troy gave it to me.
You must be joking. That was Troy's idea?
A slight correction. It was my idea. He just supplied me with the camera. I mean, do you think someone like me could get my hands on a state-of-the-art camera like that? I am much too poor.
This can't be happening. I'm not just being betrayed by my husband. My son is turning his back on me as well?
Oh, don't be too hard on the poor boys, Jolene. Actually, Troy didn't turn his back on you at all. No, he had already given up on all hope of you being a decent human being a long time ago. Your husband was the only one whose opinion of you changed today. He knew you could be a bit, shall we say, uppity, but he trusted that you would have the decency to not let your bigotry out into the open. And boy, oh boy, was he wrong. So if anything, you were the one who betrayed his trust.
But even if that were the case, which I'm not saying it is, then it would still be unfair of him to divorce me so suddenly. I deserve to have him hear my side of the story. I won't let this happen.
Weren't you talking a little while ago about how nothing is more important than the company's reputation? It seems your husband shares that point of view. He did an expert analysis of the risks that came along with having a problematic individual like you in the family, and as a result, he decided that you simply weren't worth the risk.
That's ridiculous. Sure, the company's image is important, but not more important than me. I've spent the better part of my life serving him and this company.
You really think so? Troy thinks differently. He had a lot to say about you, and none of it was very good. For example, he says that you've been burning your family's money like leaves on a bonfire.
What? Troy said that? How dare he?
Well, if you're upset at him, please don't take it out on me. I'm just telling you what he told me. If you have issues with that, I'd appreciate it if you could talk things over with each other.
I would love nothing more than to talk to him right now, but he's not responding to any of my calls or texts. I'll need you to act as a mediator between us.
A mediator?
Yes, you have to tell my husband and son that I've seen the error of my ways. Tell them I'm truly sorry for what I did to them from the bottom of my heart.
That certainly is an apology, but if you don't mind me asking, isn't there anyone else who you should be apologizing to right now?
What? Who else is there?
Well, that response from you certainly is telling.
Telling how? Stop speaking so cryptically and give me a straight answer.
It's telling in that it shows that you clearly have not seen the error of your ways, and you are not sorry from the bottom of your heart.
Yes, I am. Now, tell me who you think I need to apologize to. I'm racking my brain and I can't think of anyone but them. At least give me a hint.
You really need a hint. Take a moment and think about it, Jolene.
I'm sure you'll come up with something. No, I can't. That's why I'm asking you.
Oh, boy, you really are a lost cause, Jolene. To think my poor daughter had to get stuck with someone like this for a mother-in-law.
Oh, I've got it. I need to apologize to the company.
The company?
Yes, that's got to be it. After all, my son Troy is one day going to be the next CEO of the Virotex Corporation. If I send him a message with some sort of apology for any damage I've caused to the company, then he'll forgive me for sure. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner. This will show him how serious I am about serving the family and the company. I'm a genius.
Okay, well, you go ahead and do whatever it is you're about to do. I'll leave you in peace. I think I've said just about all I can say to you.
Mia, are you there? I wanted to say that I'm sorry. I was wrong to treat you that way.
Now you're apologizing? Don't you think you're a little bit late for that? I have been waiting for this to happen for a couple of hours now.
Blame your mother for not giving me a straight answer. She asked me so many cryptic questions. Apparently she was trying to tell me that I should apologize to you. I wish she would have at least given me a better hint.
You need a hint to realize that you should apologize to me? Well, at least you figured it out on your own.
No, that's not the case either. I can admit I need some assistance. I was sending message after message apologizing to Troy, but when he finally texted me back, he told me to apologize to you. Seriously, how was I supposed to figure that out?
Are you out of your mind? You mocked me, belittled me, insulted my mom, and for the finishing touch, you dumped a boiling hot cup of tea on me. But it still seems like you're not the least bit sorry for anything.
Can't you read? I'm trying to tell you I'm sorry right now.
No, you're not for real anyway. You're only saying that you're sorry, but on the inside, you're still saying, all I did was tell the truth. Am I right?
I was, though. Tons of poor, uneducated losers or uncivilized barbarians. Speaking of which, your mother is a real piece of work. If I were you, I'd strongly consider having her committed. Or at the very least, don't let your guard down around her.
I can admit that my mom isn't exactly what most people would call normal, but it's precisely that weird side of her that makes her extremely helpful to have around in a tough situation. I mean, it was thanks to her preparation that I was able to come out on top today.
Oh, you think you've won, have you? Well, think again. I just apologized to you, and now my husband and son will forgive me for sure.
And you said my mom was a piece of work. You do realize that your husband has given you an ultimatum. You have to be out of the house by the time he gets back from his trip overseas.
Oh, but that's what he said before. Now that I've apologized, he'll change his mind.
I am speechless, completely speechless. You really do think that you're invincible, don't you? I mean, just because you said the words "I'm sorry" doesn't mean I accept or believe your apology.
What? But why now? I'm apologizing, aren't I? What is your problem anyway? Why do you have it in for me like this?
Yeah, if that's your attitude, then you're definitely not sorry for what you did. Okay, tell you what, you really want to apologize? Then you can pay me for my doctor's bills to treat the burns you caused me, as well as some extra money on top for my pain and suffering.
Deal! I'll pay you as much as you'd like. I'll just go and grab my husband's checkbook.
Not so fast, Jolene. You're going to pay for it with money you earn on your own. I'm not going to let you use your husband's money to pay me off. If you want to show you're sorry, you're going to have to work for it.
Well, if that's what you want, then I wouldn't hold your breath. I don't have any such money. And besides, wouldn't you rather get your hands on that money right away rather than forcing me to pay you myself?
Yep, my mom was right. You're a lost cause. I'm suing you for your assault. You'll be hearing from my lawyer soon. Oh, and you should get a head start on moving out of your house.
Look at you, talking like some big shot. What makes you think I should listen to a single word you say?
Because I want you to be gone before I move in.
What?
Me and Troy are going to live in that house. We've already prepared for the move, so the sooner you clear out, the sooner we can move in.
Hold it right there. You can't be serious.
I'm dead serious. So yeah, start packing your things. Immediately.
You mean I'm actually being kicked out of my own house?
How many times are you going to make me say it? Yes, get out. You should stop wasting time talking to me and get to work on finding yourself a new place to live.
But how am I supposed to do that? I don't have any money of my own. What am I supposed to do from now on? Oh,
it's not going to do you any good to ask me.
This can't be happening. I've given everything for my family. I've served the company faithfully. Is this how I'm getting repaid for all of that?
Yes, I'm well aware of how much you love the Viratex Corporation. You told me that I had to be prepared to sacrifice for the company, didn't you?
I guess I did.
Well, now you're up to bat, Jolene. It's time for you to sacrifice everything for the company. Jolene fought tooth and nail until the very end to try and keep her place in that house. However, once Troy's father came home from his business trip, the two of them put an end to that. They told her that there was no way she could come back from this, called security, and had her forcibly removed from the house. It seems like all everyone in that family ever talks about is their company and the impact Jolene could have on it. But I think that deep down, the simple truth was that the two of them were just fed up with her behavior. I mean, Jolene was constantly name-dropping her husband and his company in order to put other people down. They can't have been too happy about having the name of their company used in such a way. After Jolene was removed from the house, I sued her for throwing that cup of tea on me. We settled before trial, and she took out a loan to make a single lump sum payment to me. Out in the big and scary world with no one to help her, Jolene was left to work off her debt by herself. How ironic, she spent most of her life looking down on poor people, but look at her now. I bet she's rethinking her bigoted beliefs right now. As for me, once Jolene left, me and Troy moved right in. It's now us and his father living together in their big, beautiful house. I'm happier than I ever thought I would be, and I know that I have my mom to thank for it. She's done so much for me throughout my entire life, and the way she helped me deal with Jolene was just one more thing I have to thank her for. She's done so much for me throughout my entire life, and the way she helped me deal with Jolene was just one more thing I have to thank her for. But she started visiting us like 4 or 5 times a week now. I wish she would tone it down a bit.